Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, IIMFL and Smart Money Alliance. It is Tuesday morning, January 19th, 2021. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I think this week we're off to a really good start with some great practical topics. On yesterday's training, we went through and covered some very important material that if you didn't have a chance to plug into, I encourage you to listen to yesterday's training, and I'll send it out along with distribution of today's. Now, what we're going to talk about today, and yesterday was about how to get revenue quickly by referring in clients for access to capital, I should say. Today, what we're going to talk about should be displayed here on your screen are 4 fast earning strategies to put upfront payments in your pocket. So don't look at this as putting you above the benefit of the client. That's not the case at all. But depending upon your campaign, what it is that you're taking to the marketplace will determine if you're paid in advance or later based upon performance fees from the client. So today we're going to talk about 4 strategies to put money in your pocket right away. So let's dig in. Again, we're using Zoom's Q&A, question and answer, kind of like a chat box. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, please type them into the Q&A so we can address those. Chances are, if you're asking, then others are thinking it as well. So let's preface it with, while we specialize in no upfront cost programming to the client, like the access to capital, how much does it cost for a client to enroll in access to capital? 0. And also like credit boost, how much does it cost for a client to enroll in credit boost? 0. So while we specialize in no upfront cost programs, there are some options that you have to generate income upfront. You're going to control what the client or the prospective client knows because you're developing the campaign, which is just a fancy word to say you're spreading the message, right? So whatever it is that you make them aware of, that's what they'll be aware of. So if you want to continue to focus on the access to capital and or credit boost, if I can highlight it properly, then that's perfectly fine. If you want to mix in some of these upfront strategies, that's okay too. Or if you only want to focus on those revenue streams that put money in your pocket up front, then that's fine too. It doesn't matter to us. In all circumstances, we're helping 2 target audiences. We're helping the clients, and we'll talk about the value proposition of each of these 4 options with them. And we're helping put money in your pocket as well, which is important to us. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll down here. So we're going to go through the 4 options. We're going to break them down, and I'm going to stop after each one because I want to have dialogue on each of these 4 strategies separately so we're all clear what we're talking about. So get ready to start typing questions, concerns, comments as we go through each of these 4 strategies. Okay, so option number 1, and these aren't listed in importance. They're just 4 options, and we're going through those 4 in just the order that came to my mind. So one option is to set up in-person workshops. Don't throw arrows at me. I understand that we're still in the midst of a pandemic. I understand in many geographic areas that we cannot set up in-person workshops for groups of 20. I understand that. So if you're in one of those geographical areas, you can listen to this and we can plan it for later this year, or you could just skip it entirely. But this is option number 1. So what is this option about? It is teaching the small business certification curriculum to a live audience, not online, not web-based, not Zoom-based. It's live, and we teach it in a 1-day class. We need at least 20 people to attend to register for that 1-day class. And we typically work with a host to set these up. So it could be a church, a chamber, an organization, association, and so forth. So we will provide, they'll send me or one of our other experienced instructors out to you at no cost to you. IIMFL will pay for our travel expense, and we'll take the primary role in at least teaching the first workshop. You'll play secondary instructor role. And if you get the hang of it and you want to start teaching on your own after the first one, then of course we can do that. So we're going to provide the primary instructor, so it's not an immense burden on your back to become proficient and ready to teach this audience of 20 plus. But what you do is secure the host and then come up with the date that we can all agree upon. So that's your primary role, to make $8,000, which we'll talk about in a moment. So that's the what. We always want to clarify, well, what's in it for the client? Why would the client or the participant, the customer, want to do this? Well, by going through the one-day workshop, obviously it's efficient. We do it in one day. It's not drug out over 4 weeks. It's in person, which many people prefer. And they're going to have increased financial literacy, which is consistent with our mission. And they're going to walk away with a lender-compliant loan package and a capital match. The capital match gives them direction of where to go with that loan package. The full curriculum is available on the IIMFL website under the small business certification. So normally this 4-topic curriculum is spread over 4 weeks, and clients that are in Access to Capital or Capital Ready 3.0 will go through it online, self-paced. In this case, though, what we're talking about is getting people together in a room. How much is in it for you? $8,000. $8,000 up front. And the math on that is this. Each participant pays $396. We know that we're going to have at least 20 participants to have a live class, and then we end up splitting that 50-50 with you and with us. But your upfront revenue that's going into your business bank account that's showing gross revenue in your business is $8,000. It's just short of that if you take 396 times 20, but it's so close to 8,000 we'll round off. Now, certainly we could have more than 20 participants. 20 is the minimum. If we don't have at least 20, then it's going to be conducted online through the normal 4-week curriculum, because we can't afford to send someone out for less than 20 participants. There's a note here. You may elect to share revenue with the host, the church or whomever that is hosting the event and providing the space. You're not required to. It's up to you, but that is a best practice. How to implement? Super simple. Very, very easy. Assuming that your geographic area is open to have in-person meetings of 20 or more. If not, again, this would be non-applicable at this point in time. So what you're going to do is secure a host, and we're going to all agree upon a date, because we need a date that the room is available. We need a date that you're available, and we need a date that our trainer, one of our trainers, is available. The host is going to take care of promoting it to their sphere of influence. That's why they're called a host, to fill the class. If you need an analogy, and this isn't a perfect one, but we'll just use Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. So he goes to staff, approaches churches, churches agree to promote it, churches push it out to their congregation, and that is very similar to this. Now, of course, that's a different topic and a different setup, but you can see that it's a common practice with hosts. The participants are going to pay you. So each one, when they enroll, they're going to pay you $396. And we've talked about we're going to have at least 20, and that's where the 8,000 comes from. And then your profit margin is 50%. That's a very high profit margin. You can do a search and determine what type of industries have a 50% profit margin. Very few do. This, you're going to have a 50% profit margin. So your gross income is $8,000. Your net income is $4,000 for a one-day workshop. So you're going to forward our half to us. You're going to keep the other half. So I'm going to pause for a moment. We've got a lot of bright minds on today's Zoom. We got Anna Marie, Anthony, Barry, Beatrice, Billy, Chanel, Kwong, Dion, Jim, Joseph, Josh, Kim, Mark, Robert, Victor, Will, William, and others. So what questions do any of you have about the first of the 4 upfront strategies? All right, Elon's asking, when does the money come in? So once the host and you and we have agreed upon a date, then people can start registering and start paying. So let's say that we schedule it 30 days out. Today's recording is January 19th. So we're just going to pretend that it's scheduled for February 19th. But if someone enrolls, registers today, they pay today. They pay you today. So even though the event is still 30 days out, you're getting that revenue now. Now, life can happen. If someone is unhealthy, ill, can't show up, they're never going to lose their money, but they don't get a refund. Instead, then they'll convert over to the online curriculum. So if they register for the in-person, we hold them a seat. If they don't come, they're not going to lose their money, but there's no refund. They're going to pivot over to the online version. So you don't have any chargebacks or refunds from that. Now, I know, and Mr. Hawkins is asking, can't we do this online? We do not teach a one-day intensive session online. We can't accomplish the same thing. If we're going to do it online, it's already available online, and that's the next topic we're going to get to. So this is in person only. In person only. Any other questions on scenario 1, which is setting up an in-person small business certification workshop? I think you're going to find that community centers, community organizations, even banks, I think you're going to find a lot of interest in this because creating jobs is so attractive. And this is a mechanism for people to be empowered, to learn how to start and grow a business, get access to capital, and create a job for themselves, part-time or full-time, and even for others. Any questions on upfront income scenario number 1? Okay, we're moving on then to number 2. Number 2 is we can enroll clients individually in the small business certification. Again, the same curriculum that we teach up here. This is all compressed into one day, hands-on, face-to-face. Here, this is online, spread over 4 weeks. So what? Then you're going to enroll clients in the 4-week online curriculum. What is the client benefit? Very similar to here, but in this case, it's online learning. They're going to have increased financial literacy. They're going to have a lender compliant loan package. They'll walk away with a capital match. And again, the curriculum is no secret. It's available to you, the host, or anyone else. What's the upfront revenue to you? Well, now it's on an individual basis because now we're not, you could be working with a host on this or not. Working with host is always smart, but there's not a host requirement for the individual enrollment. So don't worry about that. We can just enroll individuals. They're paying the same amount, the $396. We saw that up here, but now we're just addressing them on a one-by-one basis. You collect, so you would promote it. You'll collect the $396 just like you would have up here. You'll forward half of it just like you would have up here. But here we have just individuals going through the curriculum rather than an in-person face-to-face workshop. See the difference? Now, I'm not allocating the time today to further build the value proposition of the small business certification. So if you're not familiar with that, you can go review it or go through it yourself. This is included for free when people enroll in the Access to Capital program. So I see a question here, and the question is, well, again, what's the difference between this and the Access to Capital? Well, the Access to Capital is no upfront cost, but they are committing to work with us to pay a 6% performance fee And we promise to help them raise at least $100,000, and they promise to work with us to raise at least $100,000. So there's further involvement and obligation and benefit from the client after the 4-week educational curriculum. Here, well, frankly, here in a group or here individually, we're stripping out everything but just the 4-week curriculum. So there is no performance fee for people that go through this. There is no performance fee for people that go through this option either, because we're not promising them the $100,000 capital raise. Now, anyone that does go through the in-person group workshop or the individual, if we feel good about them and they feel good about us, we can add to our relationship what we call the funding agreement. The funding agreement would have no upfront cost to them, and it would just simply be a 6% performance fee. So technically, if you take this plus the funding agreement, it equals access to capital. But what I can tell you is that when you're approaching hosts or even individuals, not all of them have a warm ear to their clients or themselves paying a performance fee. So this is how we get away from it. We can go ahead and provide them the loan packaging and the financial literacy with no obligation afterwards on either part, no performance fee. Any questions in scenario one or scenario two? Very similar, right? Here we have a group of people in person. Here we have online individuals. Here, you know that you're going to make at least $8,000, but the revenue model is $396 times the number of participants. In contrast, here, you're getting $396 on an individual basis. So you could enroll 20 people individually and, of course, end up generating the same amount of revenue. Okay, so there are the first two scenarios. Any questions on those first two? Okay, I'm going to keep going through the third and the fourth, and then we're going to talk about strategy. Okay, so let's move on down to the third. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about 4 fast earning strategies so you can get upfront payments in your pocket. Because even though we typically focus on no upfront cost programming for clients like access to capital and credit boost, if you're needing income right away, we're showing you 4 strategies of how to get income right away with our same programming. Okay, scenario 3 is offering Capital Ready Package 3.0, and a number of you have been very active in doing this. I see Barry on, Monique on, several of you. That's really what you focus on. So what is this? This is enrolling clients in Capital Ready Package 3.0. Capital Ready Package 3.0 is the same as the access to capital with a couple variances. Instead of deferring their refundable deposit of $2,500 in Capital Ready 3.0, they pay for it up front. Now, you might say, well, why would someone want to pay for it up front if they could defer it? Well, some people just want to get it out of the way. Secondly, it includes the commercial address at no charge, which is what, a $1,200 benefit, and it includes credit boost at no additional charge, which is probably another $1,000 benefit. So their outlay is the same. They're paying the $2,500 refundable deposit up front rather than it being deferred in access to capital. And that was what we talked about on training yesterday. And in exchange for doing that, then they're getting the commercial address, which they may or may not need, and they're getting credit boost, which they may or may not need with no additional charge. And this is described on this link. So again, with Capital Ready Package 3.0, we're putting together their loan package, we're improving their financial literacy, we're guaranteeing them a $100,000 capital raise, a couple other perks, and then they're paying upfront. And the upfront revenue to you is $2,500. So essentially that refundable deposit is coming in the door upfront rather than later. And that could benefit you because we split that 50-50 with you. How do you implement Capital Ready Package 3.0? Well, you'd promote. You will be responsible for collecting $2,500 from the participant. You keep half and forward half to us. What's very important to know is this $2,500 from the participant, and we'll send them a DocuSign and all that, of course, is fully refundable to the client. But when that's refunded, we're not coming back to you and asking you to contribute back the portion that you kept, which is $1,250. It's just pure profit to you. Okay, what questions do we have on scenario number 3 of taking the Capital Ready Package 3.0 out to the marketplace? Okay, so we've got a question from Scott. Scott's asking on this, we're in a tough, essentially paraphrasing what he wrote, we're in a tough time, right? Not everybody has $2,500. Well, that's correct. A lot of people do. There's certainly some economic winners and losers in today's environment. You all will be economic winners because of helping people and generating revenue. But some participants will have the $2,500 and some won't. And if they have it, then you could offer this. If not, you can always default to access to capital. Robert's asking, is there a different leads list for 3.0? No, all 3 of these first, well, I don't want to say that. The target audience for both of these are essentially the same. Small business owners, they could be pre-launch, they could be startup, they could be existing businesses, but they're looking for capital. And this is a process to get capital. This is a little bit different because this is really predicated on working with a host, and the host has a sphere of influence over a group of people, and they will help fill the seats. But as far as the target audience that Robert's asking, it's small business owners, and frankly, most small business owners want and need capital. I will mention from a strategy perspective here that this has a strong educational feel, and it's extracted off of that semester-long college course that I taught that was credit earning, 3 credit hours. So while it's very valuable and important, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like, cut the BS. I don't want to go learn anything. I don't want to take a class. I just want funding. Well, the 4-week curriculum provides us the opportunity to collect the data that we need to determine the best type of capital raise for their circumstances. So this offering won't be well received by entrepreneurs that just want results. Just get me funding. But those that have a broader outlook, yes, I realize I need to learn more and I need to get prepared, will work well. And that's why this works remarkably well, because now you've got a key influencer in the background saying, you need to do this. If you want to have a successful business and get funding, you need to do this. But if you have someone that's just looking for results, I don't think that you'll get a warm reception, Robert, from pitching this, which seems more educationally focused. Again, it's preparing them for a capital raise. So for those that just want results, I would drive them right into the access to capital, which still, frankly, starts with the 4-week curriculum, but it's not marketed as an educational curriculum as this is. And the access to capital has the guaranteed $100,000 capital raise. Okay, so let me look at your other questions, and then we'll get down to credit boost in a second. So we answered Robert's question about leads. Josh is asking, so the Capital Ready package, again, that $2,500 is paid up front at the time of enrollment. You're going to collect that, Josh, from the client. And then the access to capital, we go raise the capital for them, and they pay their deferred refundable deposit from the capital raise, so they don't have any money out of pocket. Yeah, and if anyone needs specific leads list or landing pages or whatever, it's best to email me. It's hard for me to address those individual topics here on the group training. Okay, so let's get down here to the final strategy, which is offering credit boost. So we've gone through We're now on the fourth of 4 fast earning strategies. Again, normally we're offering clients no upfront cost programming, but if you're wanting to get money upfront in your pocket, we've talked about you can teach in-person workshops, you can drive people into the small business certification, which is online. You can offer the Capital Ready Package 3.0, and now we're on number 4, the fourth of the 4, which is Credit Boost with an advanced payment discount. This is available to those of you that are credit literacy educators or joint venture partners. Our affiliate partners do not offer Credit Boost, as a caveat there. So what are we talking about here? We enroll clients in Credit Boost and they pay upfront and no performance fee. This is huge. This is huge because if they were to go out and just buy trade lines, they'd probably be spending on average around $1,600. $1,600 is what we see the market average to add each trade line. We add those in either scenario, normal, Credit Boost, or advanced payment, with no fee to them. They may have an application fee, but they're not paying for the trade lines. In the normal Credit Boost, there's no upfront cost, so instead they're just paying a performance fee based upon the number of points their credit score goes up. But what you need to be aware of is there's an option, an alternative to that, where they can pay a flat fee, which is a steal. It's too low. It's absolutely too low, but they can pay a flat fee of $500, and then there's no performance fees based upon the credit score increase. So what's the client benefit? Well, we know in Credit Boost, they're going to average 100-point credit score increase in 30 to 60 days. And we do this by adding positive trade lines. And you can go to this URL to learn more about Credit Boost. What is the upfront revenue to you? $500. Matches right here. So they're paying you a lump sum, $500. Again, we split that 50-50 with you. And then they will not have any performance fees for their credit increase. Again, you must be a credit literacy educator and or joint venture partner to do this. How do you implement? You promote it, you collect the $500 from the participant, and then we split that 50-50, and then we go implement. Okay, so over the past 27 minutes, again, we've talked about 4 fast earning strategies to put money in your pocket right away. While our normal focus is no upfront cost programming to clients like access to capital and Credit Boost, there are 4 ways that you can take these solutions to the marketplace to help solve people's problems and get paid up front. Set up in-person workshops, typically with hosts. Enroll people in the small business certification, which is online, on demand. Offer the Capital Ready Package 3.0, and or offer Credit Boost with the advanced payment discount. I love working with each and every one of you, but I see some of you are high producers and some of you are almost no producers. And so I would recommend deciding on a campaign. Identify what solution you want to take to the marketplace for a problem. Again, could be the in-person workshops, one-on-one certification, Capital Ready 3.0, Credit Boost with advanced payment discount, access to capital, or traditional Credit Boost. Pick the solution that you want to take to the marketplace and develop a campaign to reach out and implement, because there's just too many small businesses that want and need capital. There are too many people with crappy credit that want to have better credit so they can buy a home, buy a car, get a business loan. So there's no reason that every one of you cannot be financially successful if you pick the solution that you're wanting to take to the marketplace, put together a campaign, and implement. All right, so let's get to the questions that you have. Anna Marie asked, yes, I'll be sending out this PDF with the recording, so you all have it. And remember, with overrides, you have the incentive, especially if you're set up as an affiliate, so then you have sub-affiliates, you're getting overrides from their production to go out and teach and replicate this. But yes, Anna Marie, we'll get this out to everyone today. And so yeah, Joseph, just reach out to me individually on that. Same with Robert. If you have individual requests, this isn't a good time to address it. Okay, Dion asked a really good question. So he's saying, okay, what happens if he has this workshop? Dion's got a couple questions on the workshops, but we'll address this one first. So they start with this, and then at the end of the workshop, then they want to move on. And so that's what we call the funding agreement. And that's what I mentioned earlier. So they would go from, people can start by attending a workshop or doing just the individual 4-week online on-demand certification. And if we feel good about them and they feel good about us, we can continue the relationship. We would execute a second DocuSign, which is called the funding agreement. There's no upfront cost, no refundable deposit, no deposits at all. At that point, it's only a 6% performance fee, which of course is split 50-50 with those of you that are joint venture partners, 1% if you're an affiliate, and we pay 3 levels deep of overrides. So that's, I think, the answer, Dion, is people that go through the group workshop or individual, if they want to engage after the 4-week or the 4-topic session, then we bring them into the funding agreement, and then we're paid a performance fee for the capital that's raised, and we share that with you. Thank you, Dion. That was a good question. Dion's other question that he asked earlier that I didn't get to is the logistics. So you can be your own host if you want, and you would need to, again, provide a room if we're going to do the in-person. We need to agree upon a date so we can have a trainer there, that you're available, that the room's available, and it's fine for you to be your own host, which is what Dion's asking. Now, that puts the burden on you of filling the room, because normally we're pulling from the host's sphere of influence. In this case, you've got to pull from your own sphere of influence, but some of you have a large enough sphere to do that. In terms of the room itself, we need basic AV equipment. It could be a projector, or better yet, a flat screen TV that we can either connect to via cable or cast to. As far as the setup of the room, very flexible. Certainly the attendees need to have a seat, a chair, to no surprise, and they need to have a writing surface. And so it could be individual desks, it could be tables. There's no exact requirement. It could be round tables, it could be rectangular tables. It doesn't really matter. But what we need to do is make sure that we know how many people will fit in that room, and then cap the number of participants based upon the capacity of the room. If you're doing round tables, and thus, one or more people from each table has their back to the presenter and the PowerPoint, that would be bad, right? We wouldn't want that. So just use good judgment there. But the bottom line is, once you have a host that's interested and a potential date, then what we'll do is we'll schedule a call via Calendly, talk with the host, we'll answer any questions they have, and then we can work through logistics. And so, of course, we can help provide the host material or content that they push out to their sphere of influence. As far as a cap, 20 to 30 is the normal size. We can go larger. I think I've told some of you this before. The largest that I ever did was at a country club in Hopkins County, Texas. Now, if you want to Google Hopkins County, Texas, you'll see it is not a very large county. Great people, though. And so we had right at 110 come to the workshop we did at the country club in Hopkins County, Texas. So yeah, we can knock this out of the park, but 20 is the minimum. And so that's what we're referring. But of course, you're paid based upon size. So Dion, if you had 40 people instead of 20, it'd be 16,000, right? And so forth. It's linear. All right, so I think we've covered the questions. What comments, concerns do any of you have? Let me shrink this down a little bit so it's more manageable. Again, we're here to help people. We're here to help you generate income. You will make money off of access to capital and the credit boost, but it's not upfront income because the model is no upfront cost to the client. If you're wanting, needing, expecting upfront income, that is within your control. Then you would use either this or this or this or this. Now, none of you have asked this, but usually someone will. So I'll ask the question maybe in closing here. Well, what if you got someone that's stone cold broke, right? They don't have a penny to their name. How in the world are they going to do any of this? They can't afford the workshop. They can't afford the small business certification. They can't afford the deposit for the capital ready. They can't afford to pay up front for the credit boost. Well, then none of these options would be a good fit for them, would it? However, the beautiful thing is you and I offer our two primary offerings with no upfront cost. So their liquidity is not a barrier to us helping them. And of course, they can always become one of your credit literacy educators. They can go do this. They can earn on average $9,000 a month. So they have revenue to take care of their family, take care of their expenses, and be able to position their business for success. That's one of the powers that, one of the strengths that you and I take to the marketplace is that we can address earned income for people that need earned income as well as access to capital. All right, well, I think we're good to go. So I will get this recording out. And again, it's up to you all to implement. We can provide the tools and training. We'll continue to do the best we can in providing support. But ultimately, your role in this, your role is to go take this to the marketplace and generate clients. That's what you're paid to do. So if you're not doing that, at some point, you got to figure out what is the solution that you want to take, who's your target market, create a campaign, and then go execute. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Have a good day. Bye.